Well, good evening and welcome to the University of Regina. My name is Costa Marigus and I represent the U of R. And thank you so much for taking some of your time on this beautiful Regina night to be here to talk about this very important project, one that we are very, very excited about. I have a few words to say as part of my introduction in just a moment, but first let me introduce our three speakers, people who will also be taking your questions, and of course we do encourage your comments tonight. With us is the President and Vice Chancellor of the University of Regina, Dr. Diane Timmins. Also with us is the CEO of Conexus Credit Union, Eric Dillon. Nice to see you again, Eric. And with us is the Associate Vice President representing Facilities Management at the U of R, Nelson Wagner. Nelson, thank you. And let's recognize you. Well, through the Center for Continuing Education, and of course this includes the Lifelong Learning Center and the Conservatory for Performing Arts, each year the College Avenue campus serves thousands of learners, young and old, and it directly contributes $18 million to the provincial gross domestic product and supports nearly 500 full-time and part-time jobs. We know that it is a hub of cultural activity. Darke Hall is an important performance venue used by numerous community groups. And the renewal of Darke Hall and the College Avenue campus has been the university's #1 capital fundraising priority. Now, achieving our goal will allow us to preserve the college building and Darke Hall, and of course, bring those buildings up to modern standards for accessibility, functionality, and performance. We know that this is an ambitious undertaking. We've been seeking support for this project from the federal government, the provincial government, the city of Regina, and the public. And by the way, the public has come through in a very big way for us, and we do appreciate that. We've issued a request for proposals seeking a partner that would support this renewal project. On June the 8th, we announced that Conexus Credit Union submitted a project proposal and has been selected to help advance College Avenue campus. As we committed to when we issued this request for proposals, we're seeking public input on the proposed development through this meeting tonight. We held one last week. This is the second of 2 public meetings. After the formal presentations tonight, there'll be an opportunity for you to ask questions and of course, provide comments. You can also provide comments via email. That email address is on that little pamphlet that you were given on your way in. It's ur.giving@uregina.ca. And this email and the website with more information are on that pamphlet that you received at the door. Now, checking around here, I do notice a couple of familiar faces I do want to point out. City Councillor Michael O'Donnell is here. Welcome. And if I may take the liberty to point out the CEO of Innovation Place, Van Eisman, is here as well. Nice to have you as well. And now it's my pleasure to introduce to you to the microphone for a few words, Diane Timmins.
Thank you, Costa. I'd like to just begin by acknowledging that the University of Regina is on Treaty 4 and Treaty 6 territory, a very important part of our past, but more important, a part of our future. I want to welcome Eric Dillon, the CEO of Conexus Credit Union, and thank him for stepping up to become our partner. Can we give him a hand, please? It's great to see so many friends and supporters of College Avenue campus here tonight. I want to thank you so much for coming, and I'm looking forward to giving you an update and getting your feedback. As you know, the College Avenue campus plays a critical role for your university and our city. It's our link with our community. We have over 8,000 students that enroll from age 6 months to 98 years of age. Isn't that a great example of what a university should be? It includes Lifelong Learning Center, the Conservatory of Performing Arts, Darke Hall. It's a hub of leadership and outreach programming. We have our Center for Continuing Education there, which is the pursuit of everything from personal enrichment to career development. Our distance education is run out of College Avenue campus, which allows for flexibility, and it's important for all of our learners from all over the province that access courses through our distance education. It's an educational, economic, and cultural hub, one that we are going to lose if we do not take action, and that is why we're here tonight, to talk to you about your university and your College Avenue campus. Support of you, of our partners, our stakeholders, and public is critical. We have a tradition at our university of working with our community, and we will continue that tradition. Together, we are stronger. The theme of our strategic plan, Piakaski Gigawi now. It embodies the spirit we need to make a renewed and revitalized College Avenue campus a reality. As a member-based cooperative, Conexus embodies the same spirit. And that's why I know the feedback that you will provide us tonight will be constructive. It will get us one step closer to the renewed College Avenue campus. And I'll be back up at the end of the program, and I want to thank you in advance for your thoughtful consideration and feedback tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bayan. Nelson Wagner is here now, facilities management team, who has a further explanation in a little more detail about what this proposal is all about. Nelson.
Thank you, Costa, and welcome everyone. Delighted to see everyone here and more streaming in. That's fantastic. It's good to see everyone out here tonight. I just wanted to quickly outline what my presentation will cover tonight, and show it on the slide. Should be up there. Not yet, sorry. Worked? Okay, good. I will speak briefly about the current physical condition of facilities at the College Avenue campus and the current work underway. I'll also outline the master planning process and the resulting development principles that we are guided by. I will show you some maps or physical layout of the College Avenue campus that have been developed from those principles, showing potential future development. Finally, I will end by outlining the potential federal funding and the proposed partnership with Conexus. College Avenue campus needs saving, as President Timmons mentioned. It represents less than 5% of the university building space as a whole, yet accounts for more than 1/4 of our deferred maintenance and capital needs. And in the worst condition is the conservatory and the gallery buildings. A recent engineering study concluded that there is serious structural damage in these buildings beyond what could reasonably be considered restorable. While the college building and Darke Hall are in slightly better condition, we risk losing them too if we continue to wait on rehabilitation. This underlines the urgency of moving forward. As the quote on the slide from Donald Luxon points out, who is here tonight, by the way, he's our heritage consultant. These are unique and historic buildings worth saving. This urgency in mind, we have already begun work on Darke Hall, as I'm sure many of you might have noticed. $3 million from community donations is being used to renovate the exterior components of Darke Hall. The construction phase started in May and should be finished by November of this year. This phase will repair the exterior components of Darke Hall, as you can see listed on the slide. We have also received a $1 million anonymous donation to improve accessibility on the inside of Darke Hall, which will be the next phase of our project. As you may know, all development on our campus is guided by our campus master plan. The master plan aligns the physical development of our campus with our strategic priorities, which are student success, research that has impact, and commitment to our communities. At the same time, it addresses our two overarching areas of emphasis in our strategic plan, indigenization and sustainability. Last fall, we conducted 3 public consultation sessions jointly with Wascana Center Authority aimed at creating a new master plan. The final document identifies our campus as a prairie place and recognizes the value of both the natural and cultural prairie landscape in future development. Strategies for responsible and sustainable development include using naturalized grasses where possible, reducing our reliance on irrigation, and collaborating with First Nations to incorporate culturally relevant symbols into the campus landscape. We are guided by these ideas, and development of College Avenue campus is no different. The newest master plan extends the idea of a campus in a park, which was included in the 2011 plan. This concept promoted the idea of creating a full range of outdoor places where people will linger, learn, and be active. The full list of principles to guide future development, specifically at College Avenue campus, are cited in detail on page 88 of our campus master plan. I've put a few of these key ones up on the slide. These principles are not just put on paper and forgotten. Once established, they are used during the master planning process to map out where developments around the College Avenue campus should go. The result is that our community stakeholders chose the layout for any future development at the College Avenue campus. I'll see how ambidextrous I am. Try to do both hands here. Okay, as you can see here, this is our College Avenue campus here. The university land actually extends down here, and it comes very close to Darke Hall and down and all across the water and also down here as well. These were the developments that are proposed in our campus master plan. This white area here, this one here, this one here, this one here. And these are green spaces, by the way, not buildings. In any case, not all of those would be developed at the same time. At this current state, in fact, the only one we're looking at is here. And so the other ones are, again, looking 50 years out, we might develop there. You never know, we just don't know at this point, but there's nothing outlined in the near future as far as we know. The Conexus proposal is consistent with Wascana Centre Authority's master plan in terms of physical space to be developed. In fact, the demonstration plan is what you see there. That's the name for it. However, the office space proposed does not conform with the approved land uses for new developments under Wascana Centre Authority restrictions. We are seeking their board approval for an exception. We think that given how much this project would contribute to Wascana Centre Authority's mandate to enlarge educational facilities, research, and recreational opportunities, and to advance the cultural arts, that it warrants such an exception. One other noteworthy part of the proposed development is that it straddles both university and city property. This map is a product of our ongoing discussions with the city. So this 2.6 acres, in fact, is a part of the city land, which is of this shape and size, which is about 30 acres. Just for information, the entire acreage for the Wascana Centre Authority is 2,300 acres. And so 2.6 acres is not a huge piece, but to us a very important piece. So as you can see, we're hopeful that the city will enable us to have that land so we can develop it. The city, in fact, has allowed us to explore use of this land to determine how it might be used to support College Avenue campus renewal. The reality is this land is needed to unlock up to $8.25 million in direct money from Conexus to rehabilitate our historic facilities. It will also save us millions in synergies with Conexus project. It will also enable the university to better meet the matching requirements of the federal funding, which I'll outline in a minute, helping leverage millions of dollars more for our project. The city has agreed to review after the RFP process is complete, which concludes this public consultation. The funding the city land donation would unlock is critical, as you can see by this illustration. This is the area where the Conexus head office would be. Again, it's in dotted lines because, one, it hasn't been designed yet. It's notional. It's roughly in that area, and it is consistent with the Wascana Centre Authority master plan in terms of the demonstration plan. But as you can see, our plan is to obviously rehabilitate Darke Hall. There are some, of course, demolition, unfortunately, we have to do, which I'll go into in a minute. The Conservatory up to, but not including the front area of it, as well as the gallery building. We will rehabilitate College building and add to it and enhance it dramatically. So at the end of the day, this whole area will become open. This is an open area. We've also have as part of our design a grade level or at ground level through right here to the park, so you can go right through the building, connect with elevators both ways, and go right into the park as well. So as I mentioned, both the conservatory and gallery buildings are unrestorable. And so this is unfortunate but unavoidable. But as a way of protecting the history we can, the front facade of the conservatory building protected and preserved, as I mentioned. We're also developing a strategy to ensure the history of these facilities lives on, and would very much accept any feedback you have on how we can do that. We actually have already, from hearing from our previous consultations, we are engaging now the heritage community more specifically and directly. On July 14th, we're meeting with a group of folks to help us do the commemoration. More importantly, we need to act on the major investments required to ensure that other buildings don't suffer the same fate as the gallery and conservatory. As part of our efforts to obtain the funding necessary, we are nearing the end of the federal funding process that we are optimistic about. The full project scope for College Avenue Campus Renewal is between $60 and $70 million. An application for $30 million was submitted to the federal government post-secondary strategic investment fund on May 9th. The university needs to match this money, making the Conexus contribution even more important. Federal timelines require funding be spent by April 2018, which is very, very aggressive. Tight timelines require work in advance of funding confirmation. For example, we're already searching for swing space, applying for demolition permits, and I've also put out a request for proposal for foundation repair and underpinning. When we undertake this project, all of the programming, all of the people will be moved out of the College Avenue campus in its entirety. So the programming will move elsewhere. Eric will be up next to outline a Conexus proposal, but I will transition to him by underlining why this is so important. It will improve the accessibility and usability of Darke Hall. It is among the largest gifts to a post-secondary institution in Saskatchewan's history, and much in need when fiscal times are tight. And it gives us a partner committed to Wascana Centre as we are, which we're totally delighted about. Thank you for attending, and thank you in advance for your honest feedback.
Thanks very much, Nelson. And of course, we are so pleased and proud to have Conexus Credit Union as a partner in this project, and we'd like to hear from the CEO, Eric Dillon.
Thank you, Costa. So it's certainly a thrill for me to be here again this evening to talk on behalf of our member owners, and more specifically about the partnership with the University of Regina to turn the College Avenue campus back into an economic, educational, and cultural hub. So for those that don't know, who is Conexus? Well, we are Saskatchewan's largest financial cooperative, the 6th largest in the country, and we represent 120,000 member owners from across the province, 40,000 of which come from right here in Regina. We have 900 employees, about half of those reside in Regina, and we have 41 service outlets ranging from Cornack in the south to La Ronge in the north. So certainly we span the entire province. But statistics for us are only part of the story of Conexus. We are a credit union with a proud history of innovation and forward thinking. A couple of examples from the banking side of our business. We offered the full service ATM anywhere in Canada, and that ATM still exists across the street in the Cooperators building on College Avenue. We were the first Canadian credit union to offer chip-enabled technology and the first recently to offer pure online lending. But innovations are not just about technology and banking, they're about people and communities. Most recently, we announced a partnership with the Regina Food Bank, offering financial management workshops and nutritional cooking programs for its clients, with Reed Saskatoon to enhance family financial literacy. And very recently, just this week, we celebrated another Conexus first, which was the 2-year anniversary of Canada's first social impact bond, which was a new way to do social finance, reuniting mothers with their children in foster care. And in a 5-year program, after 2 years, we've already almost reached the success of that program. So as a credit union and as a community organization, we have a commitment to the province and the communities where our member owners live, work, and play. We are very, very proud of those partnerships, but perhaps most proud of the contribution of our employees. Last year alone, our 900 employees contributed more than 35,000 hours of volunteer time, And if you break that down, that's as if there were 20 full-time equivalent employees of Conexus doing nothing else, but working with community partners to make Regina and Saskatchewan a better place for all of us. For us, it's not about running a financial services business, it's about making a real, tangible commitment to communities like Regina and making them better for all of us. So this opportunity with the University of Regina in the renewal of the College Avenue campus aligns to both organizations' beliefs and underlying values. As President Vian referenced tonight, the tagline, "Together we are stronger." I would tell you that that sounds a lot like a credit union tagline and embodies what credit unions and cooperatives are all about. Our partnership would see the development of our Conexus head office on the College Avenue campus property, but it's more than just a building. It's an investment in Saskatchewan and an investment in education. Last year, our credit union contributed almost $1.5 million of community investment support to support economic well-being for communities. If you combine that to the reduced prices our members pay, almost 25% of our net income goes back to communities and members, which is about 25 times what our competitors would do. Much of that contribution was invested in arts and culture. Our assistance has helped raise awareness of many programs that showcase local talent. That includes the Regina Performing Arts Centre, which is home to many nonprofit performing arts groups, the Mosaic Festival of Cultures, and others, and our continued education to youth through music scholarships, festivals, and camps keeps arts and culture traditions alive in communities. So now that you know about Conexus, perhaps more specifically about the project we've proposed. If you look at the map behind me, Site A, immediately west of Darke Hall, is the area that our proposal covers. Respect for Darke Hall and the provision of amenity and circulation space that will enhance the use of the building for the next 100 years is of utmost priority for Conexus and will strongly influence the final design. We're proposing an 80,000 square foot facility. 55,000 that would cover our office needs, just relocating our existing head office staff under one roof. But it's important to note that this building will not include any credit union retail space. It's designated only for head office employees. And in fact, for us, we believe that there's little material difference from having a college professor teaching marketing sitting in an office versus a marketing professional from Conexus working in an office. 10,000 square feet would support our future growth as a vibrant, growing cooperative. And then we're very proud our proposal also outlines a 15,000 square foot business incubator. Our vision for the incubator is it would be another first for Conexus and a first for Regina in the way it's being conceived. It would focus on supporting entrepreneurship and small business owners. And recently, Saskatchewan has definitely seen a resurgence of those interested in starting and growing their own business. And Conexus has an 80-year history of supporting small business and entrepreneurs in this province. In fact, today, if I told you half of small businesses across Saskatchewan were financed by a credit union, would you be surprised? We have been an important source of advice and capital to grow small and medium-sized businesses, and we want to partner with the community to do more of that. Our incubator concept would be built in consultation with the Paul J. Heal School of Business at the University, the Centre for Continuing Education, Regina Economic Development, the Government of Saskatchewan, and most importantly, local entrepreneurs. Ultimately, for us at Conexus, we want our members to be financially well. It's our goal as a cooperative, and what better partner than the University of Regina to help educate our members on making great financial choices and at the same time building a better Saskatchewan. Our proposal importantly speaks to a number of the things that the university was interested in as part of its RFP process. First and foremost, restoring Darke Hall. Our proposal would allow us to explore many ways to make Darke Hall perhaps more accessible with shared services and return it to the premier performing arts center that it should be. We also think that our proposal supports program delivery and leadership development. And it's an important aspect of Conexus's corporate culture, but we see tremendous opportunities to partner with the university on leadership and outreach through the Centre for Continuing Education. Through our partnership and design process, we will explore options of shared amenities that would enhance the College Avenue campus, the park, and be a benefit to all users. For us, we are all about partnerships and collaboration and making a difference in communities. By partnering with Vian and her team, we can make that difference and help meet the vision for College Avenue campus and create a welcoming, adaptable, and functional campus. We want to help celebrate the historic past of the College Avenue campus, but also ensure that it's around for the next 100 years of service to our community. Our proposal offers the gift of financial flexibility of up to $8.25 million, which, if I'm not mistaken, would be the largest single gift ever received by the university in its history. This is beyond the cost of constructing the facility that would be borne solely by Conexus. We see it as a chance to deepen our Saskatchewan roots. For those that know the cooperative principles, there are 3 that are important to this project: concern for community, partnerships, and education and training. And for us, we see this as a natural fit for those, as well as the principles of the university around commitment to diversity and sustainability, belief in community partnerships, support of the arts, and commitment to lifelong learning. We commit at Conexus to developing a space that is consistent with design guidelines of the Wascana Authority, heritage design concepts, and to fit in with other buildings located within the park. Our 40,000 member owners ensure that we understand the special place that is the Wascana Authority. We understand all of the things associated with design within the park, and our process will include consultation with experts in heritage design to make sure our development is consistent with the best practice of designing heritage buildings. We are very excited, honored, and privileged to work with the university to bring the College Avenue campus back to life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. And just a few more words from Dr. Timmons, and then we will be taking your questions and comments.
Thank you, Captain Costa. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Nelson, for your presentations. And I'm looking forward to your questions and feedback. But before we move to questions, I just want to leave you with a few final things to think about. Conexus is a dream partner for a project like this. They share the same principles as we have for this development: seamless integration with the park, a respect for its natural beauty, preservation of heritage building, and ensuring that the park experience is enhanced. The university would own the land. We're going in August to ask the city for it, but this project started in consultation with the city about 3 years ago, when I went to the city to ask for a donation to College Avenue campus, and at that time they didn't have the finances, but Glenn Davies, the city manager, said, what if we gave you some land as a contribution and you leverage it to develop it for a donation to College Avenue campus? And so that was how this began. But we don't officially own the land. We have to do these public consultations and then go to the city. When we get the land, it will be under a long-term lease to Conexus. The university would own it. And it would add one of Saskatchewan's most deeply rooted companies to our list of strong partners. Your university, your Wascana Park, and your city will greatly benefit from a renewed College Avenue campus and this new partnership. As others noted, up to $8.25 million in direct financial support for College Avenue campus. That's an amazing contribution. But in addition, there's significant one-time and ongoing revenue for all partners in Wascana Center, including revenue from parking, property taxes, fees to Wascana, potentially millions of dollars in cost avoidance through the shared maintenance and utilities. It will significantly reduce the cost of the rejuvenization of Darke Hall through the development of a shared atrium with Conexus. And it keeps Conexus headquartered at the heart of our city. These are a few examples of the benefit of this partnership. Such alternate funding sources are necessary now more than ever when we look at the current financial situation in Saskatchewan. The province, as indicated publicly, does not have the resources that they used to invest in capital. To wait for more public funds is no longer an option for us. We have the opportunity to access the $30 million federally, but we have to match that money. The money from Conexus is critical as part of that match for the $30 million. And we will need to get this project completed by April 2018, or we don't get the federal funding. The deteriorating condition of the gallery building and conservatory underlie how critical it is to move forward. I don't want to be standing here in front of you 5 years from now telling you that we have to now demolish College Avenue and Darke Hall. With this partnership, we are on the verge of getting this project underway despite all the fiscal challenges that we face. And we can ensure College Avenue survives and thrives for generations to come. This has been a tough, tough project. I said the other public consultation, it's been like pushing rope uphill. I can't believe the complications and the frustration that I felt to trying to get this happening, and now I see the light. College Avenue campus, as we mentioned, is an educational, economic, and cultural hub, and one we will lose if we don't take action. And it's more than historical buildings. I want to remind you that enrollment exceeds over 8,000 per year, and there are thousands of stories about people who've bettered their lives through participating in College Avenue campus. They include the Aboriginal Grandmothers Caring for Grandchildren Network, Older Adult Abuse Awareness Program, music programs that serve thousands of kids, including my own daughter, who, because there was no elevator, had to walk up those stairs carrying her tuba, when she was taking lessons at the Conservatory. And if you've seen my daughter, she doesn't quite look like me. She's tiny, slight, carrying a tuba. Career development programs tailored to the needs of adult part-time learners, and the list just goes on and on. But behind each of these programs are real stories. Like Raisa's story. Raisa is a member of the Lifelong Learning Center. And this is how the Lifelong Learning Center touched her life at a particularly difficult time. She said to us, "The center provided a friendly respite place for me from my responsibilities in the daily care of my aging mother and the continuous support to my husband through his terminal illness." I've said this to the health minister, and I've said it many times. If we look at the over 1,500 seniors that go to our lifelong learning, if we capture the healthcare cost savings because they're coming to the Lifelong Learning Center, taking courses, networking, spending time socially, it would pay for College Avenue campus. Or the story of Caleb and his music instructor, Barb Fitzpatrick, at the Conservatory. Here's what Caleb said. "When I was in the hospital with cancer at the age of 9 for almost 9 months, she visited and taught me at the hospital. I played behind my glass door little concerts for the sick kids who walked by the hallway. Playing the cello helped preserve my eye-hand coordination, and my memory was affected by the chemo, but it came back quicker because of the music." These stories are powerful reminders of why we're here today. We're here to save College Avenue campus, but to enable it to continue to change thousands of lives. Support from you, from our partner stakeholders, is critical, and I'm very eager to hear your questions and comments tonight. Your feedback will help us strengthen this plan and get us one step closer to renewed College Avenue campus. And in closing, I want you to imagine College Avenue campus completely renovated and renewed with Darke Hall, beautiful Darke Hall, as our Western Canada Massey Hall. That will be a showcase for our city and for our province with the best educational facilities that we have in this province in this most historical center. And the people of Regina over 100 years ago paid for College Avenue campus from their pockets. Took no government funding, and they entrusted it to us. And we had it for 100 years. It's time for us to take that trust and ensure that our grandchildren have it for another 100 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Diana. There's so many personal stories there about how people are affected because of College Avenue campus. Although we didn't have trouble with musical instruments going up with my sons because we took violin, so we had no problems going up the stairs. But we do encourage you now, of course, to offer your comments, and if you have any questions, we have 2 microphones set up here. We are recording this, by the way. After all, this is a public event. But who has a question for for Nelson, for Eric, or Bayan? Any comments? Sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm just as miserable as I was yesterday.
That's okay. Go ahead.
I'm wondering why you're extending to the west instead of going back into where the art gallery is. If we're going to demolish the art gallery, why don't you put the Conexus building in there so you're not expanding the footprint of the buildings into the park? And the other thing I want to know is how many parking spaces are you going to take? Am I ever going to be able to park there again?
So I'll begin with the parking question because it's a very important one for every student on my campus. Conexus will look at the parking that we have with us and will determine what capability we have to lease parking to Conexus and at the same time maintaining the parking for our own students and people. And then any additional spaces, Conexus is committed to do underground parking so that we will not add any parking footprint in the park. And we will ensure parking access for people. The other question that you asked, well, when we look at the Darke Hall and what we need with Darke Hall, the site that's picked is the best one to maximize efficiencies with Darke Hall. And I'll ask Eric if he has any other comments on that.
No, I think that's exactly it. When we responded to the university's RFP, one of the specific areas for us to respond to is how our proposal might enhance and help return Darke Hall to a world-class performing arts center. So of the 3 sites, we believe the one that's been chosen allows us to do that better than the other 2, and there's no other reason other than that.
Okay, thank you very much.
It still bothers me that you're moving your building outside the facade of Darke Hall. I think Darke Hall should be the anchor and you should move to the inside.
I'll always also mention that the Wascana Center and University master plans do have a number of sites all in the university lands for future building development, and this was one of the spots that was identified as a future building development. So that was in the master plan.
Okay, thank you very much for your questions. And yes, sir, your questions or comments?
First, my conflict of interest, I'm a Conexus member. My question is to the CEO of Conexus. Given your words of wisdom today, does that mean that you're going to construct a 3-story building using a sympathetic construction design so that it will support the college Gothic structures there now? And the second part of the question is, when will these drawings be available for the public to review?
Great questions, thank you. So the answer to the first question is yes. We've had one very preliminary design. It was 3 stories, and it is intended to incorporate all of the things you mentioned. And second of all, appreciate that the land is not yet in the hands of the university. The city needs to consider that question. And so we're waiting to see the outcome of that before we invest considerable money in terms of design. But we got asked at the last public consultation about whether we would make the design concepts transparent, and we would offer those up and ask for feedback, and we've committed to do that.
My second question, if I may, Costa, sure. Is directed to either the University of Regina officials. In regards to the amount of money to be spent by April 1st, 2018, which coincides with the end of a federal fiscal year, does that mean the money has to be allocated? Does it have to be spent, or does the work have to be done by then, which are 3 different things? Because my father-in-law, every December, for some reason, decides he's going to buy a lot of fuel, a lot of fertilizer for tax reasons. And he doesn't pick them up until June or September of the following year. So I'm wondering if in this project, the federal government will allow you to book the expenses in the 2017, 2018 year, and continue on with the work, so that it gives you more time.
So they've said that it must be substantially complete. That's the criteria they've given us. And we have a timeline and a plan that's very aggressive to try to meet that. In the last infrastructure program, they were very strict on that, and we were able to meet the requirements. And so we're hoping to do so. We're also applying for another infrastructure project for for Darke Hall for $6 million, which we have to match for $6 million, and that application will be submitting to a different program. And so we'll have them going at the same time. So there'll be that site will be a massive construction site.
And I see there's no lineup, so I'm going to ask my last question and then sit
Sure.
down and shut up.
It's okay.
What regulatory approvals do you need to obtain because this is being built in Wascana Center Authority,
So we need,
federal and provincial?
yeah, the Wascana Board needs to approve it. The University Board of Governors needs to approve it. The city needs to approve it. And then we need to take to the province, we need to take an order in council because we're building new buildings on university land. So we need to provide that, go through that. It is a nightmare, I'll tell you. The regulatory requirements are substantial, and we also must meet all of Wascana Center criteria, which we will do with our partner. But at every government level, there are requirements. And we're working very closely with a group of heritage architects.
Let me rephrase that. Are you saying that you're convinced today that you will not have to do an environmental impact?
I'll ask an environmental impact.
No, actually, the city land, assuming we get it fairly soon, we will do one, or certainly ask the city if they have one done. Because it's a really green space, I suspect that a Phase 1 environmental won't reveal anything, and we've done Phase 1 environmentals on our land as well.
It would be provincial environmental approval, is the question I'm asking you. Are you convinced you do not need to do that?
No, we will do everything we need to do to meet all those requirements. So we're going to the province, and in fact, I gave them a list of things we think we need to get approval, and we're confirming that list now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, those great questions. Thank you very much. Yes, go ahead.
And I like you called me an official. Stuart, take note of that. You can call me an official at home.
That's right, that's right. Go ahead.
I first want to say thank you to all the speakers for being here today and for making this a priority. I'm actually a cello teacher at the Conservatory, and I'm Caleb's current teacher right now. So he's doing very well. He's a wonderful cellist. The Conservatory, I grew up starting to take lessons there when I was 5 years old and continued on, and now I'm a teacher there. And it's a hub and it's a workplace, and it means a lot to a lot of people. And so thank you for sharing those stories. I appreciate that. I guess my concern is around the demolition of the Conservatory building in itself. And one question is, how did it get to this point? Why did it get to this point? And I do understand about the 80,000 square feet facility for Conexus and the business incubator, and I'm all for partnerships and appreciate everyone for being here. But what is going to happen to the Conservatory and to the space provided for music teachers and arts teachers and dance to be able to continue teaching in that facility?
So I'll speak to it, and then if Nelson wants to add something. Why did we let it get to such a situation that we have to demolish it? Well, that was before my time. I don't know. I've been doing everything I can to make sure we don't have to demolish the entire site. So that's what I know. Harvey King, as you know, is a director of the College Avenue campus programming, and he has laid out a plan to ensure that all of there will be some new space to replace the space that we have to demolish. And then the space we have in College Avenue will be renovated so that it's much more usable and appropriate space. So, our intent is to ensure that all of our teachers and instructors have the appropriate space to do their job well. So that's a commitment we're going to make. Now, there will be a bit of disruption because we have to move everyone out, and then you'll move back into a beautiful historical site with state-of-the-art space. Does that answer your questions?
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Any more questions or comments? Hi.
Hi, I'm Margaret Ann Hodges, and I wanted to thank Diane and the university for all the hard work that it's taken to get this project to this point. I'm generation 3 of 4 generations that have performed in in Darke Hall. Generation 1 Nancy Goodfellow showed up on the shores of Regina, the mighty Regina Creek, 96 years ago and started being involved with the arts community then. My mother, Dr. Alice Goodfellow, who I think likewise cared about this project so much that it was the very first thing she wanted to talk to Vianne about when she met her 7, 8 years ago. My daughter is Generation 4, and she's participated in the Conservatory and is back in Darke Hall with the Do It With Class group, actually, who used to be there and left because the building is falling down around them. And they've been invited back and are very enthusiastic about performing in that space. And why? Because it's a training ground for young performers. The acoustics are really good and allows them to develop a voice to project through the theater. So really excited about this project. So I do have a question along with this comment. Are there going to be some new chairs in Darke Hall as well as we renovate the outside and the accessibility? Because they're a little bit narrow.
Yeah, we have to get new chairs. So we will be refurbishing the inside of Darke Hall with all new seating. We will keep the look, the feel, the beautiful stained glass windows, the ambiance, but we will have a crush area that we're hoping Conexus will pay for. With
Great
an
idea.
that they're going to do, and we have to have accessibility with the elevator. So absolutely. So that's all in the plan.
Great, thank you very much.
And thank you for your comments and your question as well. Hi, go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Anyway, Evan Hamilton.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You sure? Go ahead.
I'm Lynn Goldman, and I just want to tell you how the buildings got into this condition. Because I've been around all those times, and I started out in Darke Hall when I was 6 years old, and in the Conservatory taking music lessons and everything. As some of you know, the Conservatory building was not built at the same time the college building was built. It was an additional to it, so it's a few years later. It obviously wasn't built as well because parts of it started falling down, and in all my years of working for the university, I begged every president and every board of governors to pay attention to the College Avenue campus, and they said, "Oh, Lynn, let it fall down." That's the answer, and that's why it's in that shape today. And Vianne is the first president who has taken it on, and I'm really very keen on the whole project, of course, because I want to see it last for another 100 years. But I think what was said about the atrium, the original plan between the two buildings, when you talk about underground parking and putting in a foundation for a new building, I can see that would be very damaging to the existing buildings to try to put in a building in between those two. So much as I like the original atrium, the look of it, I think this is a much more practical solution.
Thank you,
Lynn.
and thanks for your perspective.
I will mention that I think I was on the job 1 week, 8 years ago, and two formidable women, Lynn Goldman and Jeannie back there, came to see me, and they scared me to death, I will tell you that. They came in very forceful and said, you know, we need to talk to you about College Avenue campus, and you need to pay attention and get it renovated. That was my second week on the job. So they have never let me slack. It took me a year to get momentum going, to figure it all out, and then it's taken me 5 years to get to this point. But those two women stood beside me, shoulder to shoulder. Well, actually, they were pushing me from behind.
Good stuff. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. So a couple comments. First, great job on your perseverance in getting something that's important as the CAC. New to Regina, 18 months. The very first building actually I noted through my vision was the College Avenue campus. And so I was down looking at property, and that's a building that it's very nice. So largely, even due to the neglect, the heritage fabric of the college building and even the conservative building are largely intact. So there's lots of wonderful ability to, conserve as much of that, but obviously bring it up to modern standards and codes and things like that. So it's going to be a challenge, but it's a good challenge when you get creative. The question that I have is the overall campus is how much of that is going to be tied for the CAC renovation with the Conexus building in terms of the overall thread of the systems throughout that. And a final comment, which is that really, really well done architecture, and I know you have great architects that are on the team. Heritage, if you try to mimic it too closely, detracts from the heritage itself. Those buildings are over 100 years old. They are really will be diamonds and jewels. And so, you know, Italy, Spain, 1,000-year-old buildings, they seem to do those really well, of doing modern buildings tied to heritage, but still very respectful and very good on the heritage end. So I would caution you not too much to replicate something, because it's a false heritage representation.
So that's part of my learnings through this project, is that, and all of you need to know that the Conexus building is not going to look like College Avenue. At first I thought, well, they need to build it to blend in. It actually is going to be the modern and the 100-year-old. And what it does, from what I understand from the heritage architecture, then it highlights, when you see the contrast, it actually highlights your heritage buildings even more. So there will be that contrast there. So just that you know, that's part of my learning. So then I'll ask Nelson to ask about how much will the systems be connected.
Well, at the very least, the Conexus building and Darke Hall will be connected, and the biggest opportunity for sharing of utilities and things like that is with that building. We haven't gotten into the design yet, so obviously before we, or when we do that, we'll have to explore whether it makes sense to connect to the other parts of our buildings as well. Because we're not now connecting to Darke Hall, it may not happen, but again, we're very early in the process.
Okay, any more questions or comments? Yes, ma'am.
I support this project very much, but from what I've learned over the years about Wascana Center, they had this feeling that buildings don't belong really in Wascana Center. It's supposed to be a park, and they're particularly opposed to what you might call commercial buildings. And I'm wondering what plans you have to get around that possible objection to Conexus, which is certainly on the sort of the benign side of commercial, if I can put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Great question. And under the regulations, we have to apply for an exemption because it's not conforming. But the Wascana board has been fabulous. I've kept them informed about this every step of the way, and they have not expressed an objection to it to me at all. They've been very supportive. Now that there is a policy to enable commercial development in Wascana Park, and we have lots of it. We have the university's all office space. We have the research park right beside the university here that's office space. We have the CPC building. We have the CNIB building on the peripheral, right? That's all part of Wascana Authority. So, you know, I see this as just the same thing, and the benefits that this will be the rare development, I think, that benefits and enhances our buildings that are already there in Wascana Park. So we have a choice to enhance them or get rid of them, and this gives us that opportunity. So I hope that answers your question. I know Bernadette is here. Bernadette, where are you? And you can maybe add to Bernadette if there's anything I've missed. But my sense is Wascana, the board, has been very enabling and supportive.
Good stuff.
I have a second
Sure.
question. Nelson, I think you mentioned that Conexus was going to contribute, sounded like up to $8.25 million.
8.25 million.
Up to?
No, I'm saying 8.25.
I hear you. The third thing, sites B and C on the map? And that's it, that's all.
What was that? Oh, okay.
Sites B and C on the map. Site A is
Yes.
for the
They're
new...
not we don't have development plans for them at this time, except the Site B, we will be building additional space because we have to take the gallery building conservative out. So that might slip into a little bit of Site B.
Thank you very much for your questions and comments, of course. Any other questions or comments? Jean Freeman, yeah, you're the second person who pushed Vianne. Pardon me?
I promise not to fall down and sue.
Okay, go ahead.
I of course am one of the people that she keeps talking about and keep twisting her arm and saying we've got to do this. But I think the whole thing for me is the wonderful chance to integrate this marvelous concept and our university into our marvelous Wascana authority. And I think the secret for me, or the things that I'm hearing and what you all said, is that it's something that's being planned to be seamless and to be supportive of each other. In other words, with better things that are happening educationally and otherwise, people will come to the park. People come there, people do wonderful things. This is not going to keep people from coming, it's going to attract more people. It's going to make our whole center of the city much more vibrant and much more useful to all of us. So I have no question, I just say keep on, and Vianne, we will keep twisting your arm. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
I don't have a question, I just have a statement.
Okay.
It starts out with keep the college on College Avenue. In the microphone, yeah. She's always supporting here. My name is Elaine Yeomans. I retired from teaching in 1995. I couldn't wait to become a member of the Seniors Education Centre, now called the Lifelong Learning Centre, to attend Dr. Ron Eberle's class on great books of the Western world. Because I have made a donation to keep the college on College Avenue, Darlene Freitag suggested that I tell you what the Lifelong Learning Centre has meant to me these past 20 years. I served on the board of directors for 4 years as chair of the Distinguished Canadian Awards Committee. The Seniors Education Centre recognized the outstanding contributions to Canadian life by Justice Thomas Berger, who headed the Mackenzie Valley Pipeline Inquiry in 1974, Cliff Chatterton, the World War II veteran, CEO of the War Amps, and Adrienne Clarkson, just before she became the Governor General. When I chaired the Education Committee, it was my privilege to introduce a new class, the Prairie Sages Book Discussion Group, which I coordinated for 15 years. Liz Paul has succeeded me as its facilitator. It has to be the best, most democratic book club ever. I also coordinated several classes, the most memorable of which was called All the Crowns. The presidents of all the Crown corporations in Saskatchewan just love talking to and with the seniors. When I did donate my money to the College Avenue campus, why did I donate money to the College Avenue campus revitalization project? Because it was 2014. We have to prepare the College Avenue campus for the lifelong learners of tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, my name is Glennis Eberle, and I am enthusiastic about preserving the past, but I am more enthusiastic about preparing for the future. And we are in a situation now where there is this crisis called global warming. And so I would like to see this new project become energy efficient with solar panels and all this sort of thing, so that we can exist another 100 years and we don't go the way of the dinosaurs. And so I would like you to comment on this.
Certainly sustainability is one of the pillars of our strategic plan. And go ahead.
It's a desire and wish and an actual practice of both the university, and I know Conexus has expressed it as well, that this will be a very sustainable building, and as ours will as well. We're going to do all the best standards. Our design team, most of which are here right now, are working very hard to make sure this is a very, very efficient set of buildings. And in fact, we maximize as much as possible the natural environment to enable us to do that.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Good, because I want to see solar panels, and I want to see all this sort of thing. And because this can prove to be an example of what many other historical sites can do, how they can have one step foot in the past, they can exist in the present, and they are equipped for the future.
Well, thank you very much for that. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I think my question that I had coming in has been answered through Nelson's and Eric's presentations and by some of the answers they've given to other questioners, but and that's about the whole seamless nature of the Conexus project and how it be integrated into Darke Hall and the rest of the College Avenue campus. That said, I know how protective I think all citizens of Regina are of Wascana Centre and sort of feel an ownership of the park. And I remember the sort of vigorous debate that occurred 30 years ago when there was a proposal to include the Mackenzie Art Gallery as part of an art complex with the Royal Saskatchewan Museum, a debate that ultimately resulted in the Mackenzie being part of the T.C. Douglas building. And maybe that's not the best comparison, because I think that proposal had the art gallery going sort of at the front of the Royal Saskatchewan Museum. But I just offer that up as an example of, I think when you get a design out there and you're presenting it to the public, you may get some more vigorous discussion ensuing at that time, because people are, I think, take such a pride in Wascana Centre and feel an ownership of it.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your comments. Go ahead.
I guess when this is all finished, the question and comment is for Vianne. We know there's going to be opposition, and there already is. And for those of us who are really in support of this, how best can we work to support and help, and who do we contact, all that kind of, that would be a great plan if we could get one.
So I want to thank you for that, Elmer, and thank you and Roberta for standing with me shoulder to shoulder through these last years. You know better than anybody how challenging this has been for us. And I need that actually from everybody. The university takes pride in Wascana Centre. We are a university in the park, and our goal is to enhance and preserve the centre. And I need the public to stand shoulder to shoulder with me and to recognize, I know that there will be opposition, but to recognize that we don't have a choice. If we don't do this, and if we don't, and the timeline is so tight because of the federal funding opportunity, we'll be sitting here, like I said, 5 years from now talking about the demolition of the entire site. So it may not suit everybody, may not be ideal for everybody, but this is the best solution after 5 years of working on this that I could find, and it's the first time that I can see it happening. And I hope what you can do for me is let the city know you're in support of it, let the city councilors know, let the Wascana board know you're in support of it, and do what you're doing now and coming out and standing there. And I do feel a tremendous amount of support, and I recognize that this may not be ideal for everyone, but I'll tell you that this partner that we have, Conexus, I said it's a dream partner. I couldn't pick a better company to work with me and partner, and Eric has been unbelievable. And Conexus could build anywhere, and I wonder sometimes how he's going to keep putting up with us, because the hoops and the challenges of doing this project with us is unbelievable, but he's steadfast and standing with me and working with me even through all of the problems and challenges we have, because as you know, we have the city land, the federal government money that we have to access. We have to go through all of these boards, the City Council, Wascana Board, our own government in order and council, my own board. We have to make sure we can match this 30 million and then match the 6 million. Then we have to get it done by April 2018. Like one thing can have a domino effect and take it off the rails. So I really need everybody recognizing that we're doing our best. We're thinking outside the box a little, but that's okay. That's what we have to do because we can get this done together. Thank you.
Any more questions? Go ahead.
It's okay. Hello, my name is Stella Popa, and I'm a teacher at the Conservatory. I teach piano. Originally, I'm from Romania, and one of my griefs I was experiencing is I came here in '84, so I have many years in Regina, and I love it. I loved it even I came in the middle of the winter. And I was very excited to be here and see wonderful arts. I had an amazing feeling of, I came from a very big city, very big, like opera 5 times a week and stuff like that. So I came here, and of course, no opera, but it's okay. It was once in a while at Darke Hall, but I was absolutely stunned to see every concert that I went to extremely well done, like a high level of everything. You go to anything, small, big, amazingly high level. I was so happy. I was like, this is my dream, to live in a small city. This is called small for me. And to have the opportunities to enjoy high-class music and to feed my soul and to be so well, I don't know, spiritually connected with this amazing music and other form of arts, theater and so on. And I always was very saddened when I saw an old building demolished. I couldn't express my sadness. And when I heard that our college is going to be saved, I was overjoyed. I cannot express my joy because I think by doing this, we also make a statement to the North America, not just to our country here, because this I think is an American concept that because people came from Europe and they built shacks and you have to survive a little bit and then throw down that shack and then build something better, but not too expensive because we don't have money. So all this is ingrained in the North American thought, like everything is not good. You have to destroy it and build something a little bit better, but not great, because in Europe everything is like solid, brick, stones, it's unshakable, right? Here everything is flimsy, it's like, okay, a little, like put your fist through the wall and stuff. Anyway, but I want to say that I'm very happy to be part of this rebuilding and remodeling and so on and so on. All this is fabulous. Now, a few practical things. I don't know if you ever thought, I know you want to move us somewhere. Of course, we don't have room in the college building, all of us. So I'm just telling you, I think, if you saw, there is a note beside Le Baldos on college. It says that building is for rent, and it's pretty big. So I don't know if you ever look at it, but it's on college, and there is another one on college. It's called Bishop Place. It was a church. It's in corner of Broad and College by the College Park senior residence. But anyway, that is probably probably needs repair too, I don't know. But I'm just saying it would be good if we could stay in this area, if we move wherever, because if we go to who knows what end of the city is not too good for the students, because we don't want to lose too many students on this transition. We want to stay somewhat downtownish, and if you ever looked at these buildings that have the sign for rent, I think it's a good idea to look, because
the plans are to make it as seamless as possible, even during this construction period when it happens.
Yeah, but
certainly
we need to be
sensitive to
somewhere.
that as well.
But yeah, that's why my concern is like
do
not to
welcome
go far
yes.
away,
Yep.
if possible.
So
That's a
we're
great
looking,
idea.
the swing space we're looking at is the Sound Stage, the CBC building, and First Nations University. The 3 places we'll look. So when the construction happens, you won't have to go far. We will be relocating as close as possible.
Okay, that's great.
And rest assured, the acoustics in the old CBC studio where I did the news are perfect, so you'll be very happy there as well. Just so you know, it's
Okay,
personal
that's
experience.
awesome. And another thing is, when we are going to build the conservatory, I really encourage you to be now the interest rates are low with the bank loan, so if we take a mortgage, don't be too frugal, because I'm very frugal. I don't encourage lavish expenses or anything, but I really feel very strongly about not reducing too much the numbers of rooms, and don't make everything very puny a little bit, because I need 2 pianos, several of us need 2 pianos in our room, and then our teaching, like my personal teaching is like master class. So in my room at the time I teach, most of the time I have other people watching. Of course, parents and children, but I'm not just one little piano with one puny little room. So I would like you to consider at least a certain number of rooms, decent.
And don't forget, you can always send your ideas by email, and it'll probably be easier for us to grasp what the ideas that you're proposing here.
Okay, so
So don't forget to send us an email with your ideas, the ones you're expressing here tonight.
So go knock on Harvey King's door and tell him.
Or just go see Harvey.
Okay, I will, definitely.
Those are 2 things you can
Yeah.
do.
Okay,
Well,
so
thank
that's
you.
basically what I want. I
Well,
don't want
thank
you to cut us halfway the rooms or something. We need the rooms. Okay,
Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. All right, thank you. We have a few more minutes before we wrap things up. Any other comments? Questions? Go ahead.
Wilma Bell Wessel of the Voice Department at the Conservatory. I'd just like to support Stella in what she's saying, and also my cello colleague. Yes, because there's a terrific anxiety. There's not too many of us here tonight, but the teachers of the Conservatory are feeling it, and where are we going to go? And we know more or less where the cutoff is in the south wing that is going to be demolished. We know where that is. My studio is on the safe side, on the north side, believe it or not, okay? That's what I've been told. You see, there's all these rumors. Oh, they're going to put you all on the 3rd floor of the college building. I see, so everyone is going to have to walk up those 3 flights of stairs all the time. So I just want to support what they have said and the concerns that they have, and the sooner you can be finding us a place to go when the demolition starts, it would really help.
Okay, thank you.
And you won't have to walk up the stairs because we'll have elevators.
That's right. It will be accessible, absolutely.
Good exercise. Yeah.
All right, I think that's it for questions and comments.
So Costa, maybe I'll
Yes.
just close.
Go ahead.
By just making it, just thank you for coming out tonight. It's a beautiful, beautiful summer night in Regina, and that you took your time to come here to learn more, and I know many of you to support this initiative. I also want to, on behalf of the university, thank Eric Dillon for stepping up, and he truly stepped up to help us. Like I said, he and his company could build anywhere, and they chose to do this because they want to support the university and Darke Hall and the arts in our community. And I think that's noble, and I want to just thank him for that. Please talk to your neighbors, tell your friends, tell your family, let them know that what we're doing, and as much as information as we can give you, give them. And please, like I said, I need you to stand shoulder to shoulder with your university. We can make this happen, but only if we do it together. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
And you're in time.